Hey there, movie fans. It's been quite a while since I did a Criterion update. Last one was back in September 2016, so it is about damn time I did another one. And the Criterion titles in this video are the ones that I purchased since then. So, without further ado, let's get to it. The first one is Barry Lyndon by Stanley Kubrick. This is easily one of the most stunning looking films ever made. The cinematography by John Alcott is absolutely amazing, and you know, every frame is like a painting. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but in this case, it's true. It's like a moving painting, you know, and it's very difficult to say what Kubrick's best film is. But if I had to choose one, and if I had to base it on visual style, then I would choose Barry Lyndon. You know, it is a gorgeous film, and it looks even more gorgeous thanks to the 4K restoration. Next one is Here Comes Mr. Jordan, which is a lovely film. It's about a man who dies 50 years too soon, you know, having made a little mistake. So they give him a new life as a rich playboy. Now this is based on the same play as Heaven Can Wait from 1943, which also has a Criterion release, by the way. And in 1978, Warren Beatty did another film version of the same story. Carnivale All Souls. This is the one and only movie directed by Herc Harvey. It was made with a very small budget. It was so small, in fact, that there were only 6 crew members, including Harvey. But it's still an effectively creepy and atmospheric little gem. Transfer looks great, and you know, it's a film that was in public domain limbo for years. And so is this one, Night of the Living Dead. You know, this has been released on DVD and Blu-ray countless of times due to its public domain status. But if you're looking for one edition of this classic horror film, then look no further. This is the definitive Blu-ray release, and it's worth it for the 4K restoration alone. I mean, the picture quality of the public domain releases, they go from bad to worse. But this is so pristine, so perfect. It will never look better than this. And it also has some interesting bonus material, including a work print version with a different title, Night of Anubis, which has never been shown before. And you know, the release itself looks very beautiful. Probably come with this fold-out booklet or poster, booklet, whatever you want to call it. Double disc, and a very nice artwork on the other side there of the Living Dead. Now here's another title that was in the domain of the public for years, and I still cannot believe this has gotten the treatment and restoration it deserves. One-Eyed Jacks, the one and only film directed by Marlon Brando. You can kind of compare it to Night of the Hunter, which is the one and only film directed by Charles Laughton. You know, 2 great actors who turned out to be 2 great directors as well. And it's a damn shame they never directed another film, because they were good. They were really good as directors. But yeah, it's amazing, absolutely amazing that this has gotten a 4K restoration. Yep, very happy with that. One-Eyed Jacks. Next one is Punchdrunk Love, written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. This is the only Adam Sandler movie I like, and You know, there are rumors that Criterion will also be releasing Boogie Nights in Magnolia. I would be very happy if they did that. I would also love to see a Criterion treatment of Anderson's debut film, Heart 8, which in some countries is known as Sydney. Now here's a genuine classic film, Straw Dogs by Sam Peckinpah. You know, even after, when was this, 1971, almost 50 years old, this movie. You know, even after all those years, this film hasn't lost any of its strength. You know, it's still as powerful and controversial as it was when it first came out. And it's hard to believe that this movie is 50 years old, almost 50 years old already. But what a film. And what a release. Very nice. Next one is The Age of Innocence. Now this is not among my favorite Scorsese films, but this is a very beautiful piece of cinema. Based on the book by Edith Wharton. Jay Cox gave Scorsese a copy of the book as a gift, and it took him 7 years to finally read it. And Scorsese adapted you know, the book into a screenplay with the help of Jay Cox. You know, Jay Cox was a film critic for Rolling Stone magazine, if I'm correct, who became a screenwriter. You know, he co-wrote Gangs of New York, Silence, and he did some uncredited work on The Last Temptation of Christ, which I still need to upgrade to Blue, by the way. His Girl Friday, which is an all-time favorite of mine. I absolutely adore this film. You know, Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell. Arguably, they have never been better. And yeah, it's such a fine film. This is a remake of The Front Page from 1921, which is also on this Blu-ray. A terrific film. Absolutely a terrific film. But I do prefer His Girl Friday. Mildred Pierce. Excellent melodrama with Joan Crawford at her very best. She received an Academy Award for her performance, and rightly so. I mean, she's fantastic in this film. Everyone delivers fantastic performances in this film, really. And you know, Michael Curtiz is one of the original masters of Hollywood. Next is this incredible release of the Lone Wolf and Cub film series. You know, got all 6 films on there, and you know, these are all extraordinary films, and it's hard to say which one is the best. You know, some people say that the first 2 are the best ones, but if you ask me, they're all equally as good. I mean, I'm a big fan of these series, and I'm a big fan of Japanese samurai films in general, and you know, these films are among the best of what this genre has to offer, and it looks like an amazing release as well. And we got this thick booklet. With some great you know, manga style artwork. You know, the Blu-rays there. Yeah, gorgeous release. And speaking of Japanese samurai films, I also got the complete Lady Snowblood, with the great Michael Kaji as the title role, seeking bloody revenge. You know, the first one is the best one. You know, it's up there along with the Lone Wolf and Cub films, in my opinion. And the second one, not bad. not bad at all. I own the Steelbook edition from Arrow Video as well, and in terms of picture quality, this Criterion release is a huge improvement. I will leave a link below of a website called DVDBeaver.com where they compare the two Blu-rays, so you can see what the difference is between the Criterion release and the Arrow release. And by the way, this is the very last Criterion title I bought from Barnes & Noble. For some reason, they don't ship to Europe anymore, and I don't know why. Here's another Japanese film, but not another samurai film this time, but an anthology film by the granddaddy of Japanese cinema, Akira Kurosawa. 8 different short stories, and one of them stars Martin Scorsese as Vincent van Gogh, or Vincent van Gogh as you say it in English. Kurosawa had difficulties finding the money to finance the film, but he managed to make a deal with Warner Brothers thanks to Steven Spielberg, who is a great admirer of Kurosawa. Next is Stalker by Andrei Tarkovsky. Now I have to admit, this is the second Tarkovsky film I have seen, but he is becoming one of my favorite directors. It's based on the book by the Strugatsky brothers. I don't know exactly how you pronounce the name. But I've never read the book, but I understand it's very different than the film. It's about the stalker who guides 2 men who are only known as the writer and the professor to the zone, which is this forbidden alien-infected area. And there's a lot of dangers in that area, although you don't really see any danger. What you do see are these 3 men talking while they are walking through the zone, and sometimes they talk in a philosophical way, and sometimes they talk in a poetic way, and that's it. That's the whole movie, in the entire 161 minutes. And even though I didn't understand it, I was mesmerized from start to finish. In a way, it was hypnotic, almost. And relaxing. It has a very relaxing effect on me, and the film looks amazing as well. The world that Tarkovsky has created is hauntingly beautiful, but at the same time, it's dirty and ugly and disgusting, and I felt like I needed a shower afterwards. The making of this film went very smoothly. You can read more about it in the booklet that comes with this Blu-ray. But it's being compared to other troubled productions like Apocalypse Now and Fitzcarraldo. And according to some, Tarkovsky and other people who worked on Stalker was exposed by some chemical stuff in the shooting location of Estonia. And Tarkovsky died of cancer in 1986, and that could have been the cause of it. So that's very sad, of course. But nonetheless, this is an incredible cinematic experience. And speaking of Tarkovsky, I also got Solaris, which is another amazing film as well. Next one is Day for Night by François Truffaut. The original title is La Nuit Américaine, which means the American night, and that's a term they used for nighttime scenes shot in daylight. But this is one of the finest films I've seen about filmmaking. Truffaut himself is also in it. He plays the director, obviously. He basically plays himself, But this is the film that ended the friendship between Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard. Godard wrote him a letter saying that the film was not true to real life, and he called him a liar. And Truffaut wrote him an angry letter back, and after a while, the two gentlemen never spoke to each other ever again. And Godard regret that, especially after Truffaut's early death in 1984. But yeah, wonderful film, this one. Absolutely wonderful film. Next is The Silence of the Lambs, and this is a stunning release. Like Night of the Living Dead, this is the definitive Blu-ray release of this film, with a beautiful Rorschach artwork in the shape of a death's head hawk moth, I believe that's how you call it. And the film is a masterpiece, no doubt about it. I mean, I know some people prefer Manhunter, but to me, this is the best Hannibal Lecter movie ever made, and Anthony Hopkins is the best Hannibal Lecter, period. Let me give you a closer look on the on this beautiful set here. Here's the two discs and the artwork, and a bigger picture of the hawk moth here. And of course you got the booklet right there. Yeah, sorry for the glare there, by the way. Yeah, very nice. And last but not least, another gorgeous Blu-ray edition of Blow Up by Michelangelo Antonioni, about a successful and arrogant fashion photographer played by David Hemmings, who accidentally makes a picture of a murder. Let's take a closer look on the booklet here, the contents. There's David Hemmings right there. And Brian De Palma, by the way, was inspired by this film when he made Blow Out. It's pretty much the same kind of story, only in De Palma's film it's a sound man instead of a photographer. The sound man is played by John Travolta. But yeah, great, absolutely great. And that's it for my Criterion update. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.